Welcome to the 1000 Nights and 1 Night. Now, when it was the 54th night, she said, It hath reached me, O auspicious king, that the fireman exclaimed, O Allah, I beseech thee of thy knowledge of hidden things, that thou make this young man's life the work of my hands. And he ceased not to nurse him for 3 days, giving him to drink of sherbet of sugar and willow flower water and rose water, and doing him all manner of service and kindness, till health began to return to his body, and Zau al-Makan opened his eyes. Presently came in the fireman, and seeing him sitting up and showing signs of amendment, said to him, What is now thy state, O my son? Praise be to Allah, replied Zau al-Makan. I am well and like to recover, if such be the will of Allah Almighty at this time. The stoker praised the Lord of all for this, and wending fast to the market, bought 10 chickens, which he carried to his wife, and said, Kill 2 of these for him every day, one at dawn of the day, and one at fall of the day. So she rose up and killed a fowl, and brought it to him boiled, and fed him with the flesh, and made him drink its broth. When he had done eating, she fetched hot water, and he washed his hands and lay back upon the pillow, whereupon she covered him with the coverlet, and he slept till the time of the mid-afternoon prayer. Then she arose and killed another fowl and boiled it, after which she cut it up, and bringing it to Zau al-Makan, said, Eat, O my son. While he was eating, behold, her husband entered, and seeing her feeding him, sat down at his head, and said to him, How is it with thee, O my son? Thanks be to Allah for recovery, he replied. May the Almighty requite thee thy kindness to me. At this the fireman rejoiced, and going out bought sherbet of violets and rose water, and made him drink it. Now the stoker used to work at the Hammam all day for a wage of 5 dirhams, whereof he spent every day for Zau al-Makan 1 dirham upon sugar and sherbet of rose water and willow flower water, and another dirham for fowls. And he ceased not to entreat him thus kindly during a whole month, till the traces of illness ceased upon him, and he was once again sound and whole. Thereupon the fireman and his wife rejoiced, and asked him, O my son, wilt thou go with me to the bath? Whereto he answered, Yes. So the stoker went to the bazaar, and fetched a donkey boy, and he mounted Zau al-Makan on the ass, and supported him in the saddle till they had come to the bath. Then he made him sit down, and seated the donkey boy in the furnace room, and went forth to the market, and bought lote leaves and lupin flower, with which he returned to the bath. And he said to Zau al-Makan, O my master, in Allah's name, walk in, and I will wash thy body. So they entered the inner room of the bath, and the fireman took to rubbing Zau al-Makan's legs, and began to wash his body with the leaves and meal, when there came to them a bathman, whom the bathkeeper had sent to Zau al-Makan, and he said, seeing the stoker washing and rubbing him, said, This is doing injury to the keeper's rights. Replied the fireman, The master overwhelmeth us with his favors. Then the bathman proceeded to shave Zau al-Makan's head, after which he and the stoker washed themselves, and returned to the house, where he clad Zau al-Makan in a shirt of fine stuff, and a robe of his own, and gave him a handsome turban and girdle, and a light kerchief which he wound about his neck. Meanwhile the fireman's wife had killed and cooked 2 chickens. So as soon as Zau al-Makan entered and seated himself on the carpet, the husband arose, and dissolving sugar in willow flower water, made him drink of it. Then he brought the food tray, and cutting up the chicken, fed him with the flesh, and gave him the broth to drink, till he was satisfied. When he washed his hands and praised Allah for recovery, and said to the fireman, Thou art he whom the Almighty vouchsafed to me too, and made the cause of my cure. Leave this talk, replied the other, and tell us the cause of thy coming to this city, and whence thou art. Thy face showeth signs of gentle breeding. Tell me first how thou camest to fall in with me, said Zau al-Makan, and after I will tell thee my story. Rejoined the fireman, As for that, I found thee lying on the rubbish heap by the door of the firehouse, and as I went to my work near the morning, and knew not who had thrown thee there, So I carried thee home with me, and this is all my tale. Quoth Zau al-Makan, Glory to him who quickeneth the bones, though they be rotten. Indeed, O my brother, thou hast not done good save to one worthy of it, and thou shalt presently gather its fruitage. And he added, But where am I? Thou art in the city of Jerusalem, replied the stoker. Whereupon Zau al-Makan called to mind his strangerhood, and remembered his separation from his sister, and wept. Then he discovered his secret to the fireman, and told him his story, and began repeating, In love they bore me further than my force would go, and for them made me suffer resurrection throe. Oh, have compassion, cruel, on this soul of mine, which since she fared is pitied by such envious foe. Nor grudge the tender mercy of one passing glance, my case to lighten, easing this excess of woe. Quoth I, Heart, bear this loss in patience. Patience cried, Take heed, no patience in such flight I want to show. Then he redoubled his weeping, and the fireman said to him, Weep not, but rather praise Allah for safety and recovering. Asked Zau al-Makan, How far is it hence to Damascus? Answered the other, 6 days' journey. Then quoth Zau al-Makan, Wilt thou send me thither? O my lord, quoth the stoker, how can I allow thee to go alone, and thou a youth and a stranger to boot? If thou would journey to Damascus, I am one who will go with thee, and if my wife will listen to and obey me and accompany me, I will take up my abode there, for it is no light matter to part with thee. Then said he to his wife, Wilt thou travel with me to Damascus of Syria, or wilt thou abide here whilst I lead this my lord thither and return to thee? For he is bent upon going to Damascus of Syria, and by Allah, it is hard for me to part with him, and I fear for him from highwaymen. Replied she, I will go with you both. And he rejoined, Praise be Allah for accord, and we have said the last word. Then he rose, and selling all of his goods and his wife's gear, and Shahrazad perceived the dawn of the day, and ceased saying her permitted say. And so do I cease my story for the day, until it be morrow.